In this video, I'm going to show you how to sign up for a Wealthsimple trading account from scratch, get registered, and then get started trading. I'm going to go through the process of setting up a tax-free savings account or a TFSA, but you could do the exact same process and follow along with whatever type of account you want. There's actually a really good reason why I'm bringing this updated version of the video right now. For starters, it's been a year and a half, maybe 2 years since my last Wealthsimple tutorial. And then secondly, right now is actually a pretty solid time to start investing if you haven't already. The total market, the S&P 500, was down 21% from the top. It's still down about 15%. And so when we see big dips, corrections like this, these are times that I'm more excited to actually start buying in and picking up some shares of stocks or ETFs that I'm interested in. So I do think this is a solid time to get started, even if you have literally zero experience. But before I talk about some basic ETFs that you might want to pick up in a beginner portfolio, let's walk through the setup. So right now I'm going to do the process on the computer, but you can also get the app on your phone and sign up for it that way. Now, to get signed up, all you have to do is put in a name, an email address, and a password for starters. Once you've done that, the app will prompt you to put in a little bit more basic information, confirm your address, for example, and a few other pieces of key intel. But from that point, then you can actually move to setting up or adding an account. So right now I have a non-registered or a basic trading account that's actually set up with a small amount of cash in it, but I'm also going to click this button right here, add an account, and set up a tax-free savings account. This is realistically the best type of account that you could invest in, because when you make gains, capital gains in this, you won't be paying any taxes on that, which obviously is incredible. You can contribute up to $7,000 per year, and it's actually backdated based on your age, so you should check how much your contribution room is. So for example, every year from the time you turned 18, you are allowed a certain contribution limit. And if you haven't used that even up to this point, you can still put all that money in. It just accumulates year after year. So let's click there and then choose the type of account. I'm going to do a self-directed investing account. This is where you pick and choose your own stocks, your own ETFs that you want to invest in. I like this. I like having control over my investments. But if you want to do one of like the prefabbed portfolios or strategies, you can also choose one of these. So this one here, portfolios, will be literally just, portfolios built by the team. They assess your risk tolerance and then they'll just tell you what to put it into. This is literally just a savings account. And then the bond portfolio is going to give you some cash flow on your assets, but you're not going to see massive growth in your investment over time. So yeah, I'm going to set up a self-directed investing account. Now from that point, you're going to have to read through the agreement documents. And then once you've agreed to them, click next. Another set of disclosures here, stock lending and risk disclosures. Check them out. If you're satisfied with everything, hit open account. Okay, so just like that, I've got my tax-free savings account all set up. Now the next step is to add money. A couple of different ways that you could do this. If you already have an account with Wealthsimple, you can hit move money. So for example, in my non-registered trading account on Wealthsimple, I have a little bit of cash that I could move over, and that would be instant. You can also click this button here, add money, and then you can select to add money from various linked bank accounts. It's very simple to link a bank account, or from an e-transfer. The bank accounts will be instant. The e-transfer will have a slight delay. And if you want to link a new bank account, the process is very simple. Hit that button, link new account right here. Choose your bank from the list and then just follow the steps. It shouldn't take more than a couple of minutes. So you can literally sign up for this, open up an account, and then send money to it in a matter of minutes. So I'm going to add $500 from one of my bank accounts just for the little demo here, and I'll tell you exactly how long it takes from the minute that I submit the request. It literally took less than 10 seconds for it to show up in the account. Now I can actually start trading with this, although there will be some restrictions on now withdrawing that, because it takes a little bit of time for this to actually process behind the scenes. But yeah, once you do that, you can actually start trading in Wealthsimple. So this is the fun part. Now this is where you get to choose what you want to actually invest in. One of the beauties of Wealthsimple, and maybe I should have mentioned this earlier, is that there are 0 fees for trading, at least in Canadian dollars. So when you buy and sell stocks or ETFs in your account, you will not pay any fees on those trades. There are fees for trading on margin, for trading cryptocurrency, and for foreign currency transactions. So for example, if I tried to buy a share in a US listed company with US dollars with my Canadian dollars that I just loaded to the account here, there will be a fee on that. And the currency conversion rate is 1.5% for each conversion, which is quite a lot. Now you can get around that if you pay a monthly fee, or if you deposit over $100,000 or over $500,000 in assets. But other than that, if you want to trade US stocks, you will have to pay either a conversion fee whenever you make those trades, or you'll have to pay a monthly fee, and you can decide whether or not it's worth it depending on how much or how often you're trading. Now personally, I would not use Wealthsimple Trade to be an active trader, especially of US listed stocks, because it is a little bit more expensive. But it is great for sort of a buy and hold strategy and for investing in any and all Canadian companies. Now, when it comes to figuring out what you want to purchase, you kind of have to have an idea of what you want to buy already. You can search for a ticker symbol in the search bar here on the desktop app. And when you click on it, that will give you the option to actually invest in it. So this right here is just the TSX, or the total Canadian stock market. It's a pretty solid ETF for people interested in investing in Canadian markets. Another one that I do like as well is VFV. This is a S&P 500, which is the US stock market, but you get to invest in it with Canadian dollars because VFV, this ETF, is listed in Canada. Now, if you're following along on your phone, there's actually a little bit more functionality. So let me bring up the screen recording here, that it shows you, some examples of actively traded stocks, top gainers, top losers, and then there's lists of different ETFs that you might be interested in. They've got crypto as well. So they have some minor research tools here, let's say, in the app that you can use if you have literally no idea what you want to buy. However, the real benefit of Wealthsimple Trade is not the research tools, it's the fact that you can easily trade from your phone for 0 commissions. So I wouldn't necessarily say that you're going to spend a lot of time on the app here trying to figure out what to buy. You should probably do some research outside of the app, and then once you're ready to invest, it's quite simple to just select a ticker symbol from the search bar and buy or sell shares in it. And by the way, if you're looking for useful and totally free research tools to help you to decide what to invest in, Yahoo Finance actually has pretty solid stuff. So for example, if you type in a ticker symbol, you can see all the information you need to know about it, how much it pays in dividend yields, what's the expense ratio, how many assets it has under management, and you can check out the price performance over time, of course. But even if you have no idea, you can check out the research tab. They've got stock screeners. You can compare different stocks or ETFs, and this is a good free resource for sure. So once you've made up your mind on what you want to buy, let's take another look at XIC here. This is the total Canadian stock market. So it was having a pretty solid run right up until about Donald Trump got elected and came into office, started throwing around all these tariffs. So the peak of this was about $41, but now came down quite a bit, was at 35 a few days ago, but currently is sitting at 37. So when there's a decent correction like this, I always think it's a solid opportunity to buy. So when you decide you want to buy, the process is simple. You're going to choose what type of order. Market buy is you're just going to buy shares of this ETF or stock or whatever at the current price that it's being sold at. However, you can set a limit buy if you have an idea of maybe you think it's going to go back down to $35.92. Well, I could set a limit buy order for $35.92, and then when or if it hits that target, it would execute my trade and that would go through. Stop limit is a little bit more complicated. Basically, you have to set 2 prices. The stop price is when your order becomes active, and the limit price is the price that you're actually targeting to sell it for. And yeah, by the way, it only says buy right here because I don't have any shares of it. But once you purchase shares, you'll get another button that says sell with the exact same buttons on the other side. Now, one quick thing that I should mention, difference between market buy and limit buy is you can absolutely control the price you're paying per share with limit buy. and combine that with the fact that Wealthsimple charges $0 for trading, that is the best price, or the best way that you can get the best price by using this app. If you use the market buy feature, yes, there's $0 commissions. However, Wealthsimple makes money from something called payment for order flow, which is a bit complicated and I'm not going to get into it now. But basically, you might get a slightly worse price hitting a market buy because other bigger traders will sort of get on the books before you. It won't make a huge difference in the long run, especially not if you're a buy and hold trader as opposed to someone that's actively buying and selling. So I don't really care if I pick up shares at $36.99 versus $37 at this point. So let's just place an order here. Oh yeah, you also have to select the account that you're going to purchase it from. So let's buy it in the new TFSA that I just set up. We'll select 10 shares of XIC and then hit next. There will be one final order confirmation, submit the order, and we're done. That's it, as simple as that. Now if I go back to home and check out my TFSA, I can scroll down and see what I have in here. So currently I've got those 10 shares of XIC and then a little bit of cash left over. By the way, if you are interested in a stock, but you don't necessarily know if you want to buy it yet, you can also click this button here that adds it to your watch list. And then when you're back in the portfolio tab, you'll see it right over here. So I can keep track of it, and if I see if it reaches a good price, then I can decide whether or not I want to buy. So yeah, that is basically how you get started, open an account, fund it, and make a trade. If you want to make sales, it's very simple. Now I have the sell button and I just reverse engineer the process, select the account, and choose what I want to do. Now before I leave you, one other useful tool I want to show you, and it's most easily accessible in the app on your phone, is the automations section. So if you hit on the third button, which has two arrows pointing in opposite directions, the last option on that list is automations. And that is where you can set up recurring deposits or even recurring investments and dividend reinvestments. The last two options are for more advanced people, but these first three are super useful. So for example, recurring deposits, you could automatically set up a transfer from your bank every payday of a couple $100 if you want to. Recurring investments allows you to dollar cost average into a position. So let's say you want to just keep buying a certain stock or ETF over time. You can set this up where you choose what you want to buy. Let's just choose a random one from the list here. And then you can set up how often you want to buy it and for what amount. So let's say $50 every week starting tomorrow. It's a great way to help you make sure that you keep investing over time, which is statistically proven to be the most successful way of investing. And the final automation that you might want to check out is dividend reinvestments. So if you have a stock or an ETF that pays out dividends, you can literally just toggle this button here that automatically reinvests all of your eligible dividends anytime that you have that. I think it's definitely a great thing to do, and I would recommend going into that section of the app and making sure that you turn that on. That helps you maximize your compounded interest over time, grow your portfolio, and who knows, retire or reach financial freedom earlier. So hopefully you found this little tutorial helpful. I do think it's a great time to get started investing, especially if you have never invested before. Of course, always do your own research before deciding what to buy. Total market ETFs are pretty solid ways to avoid some of the worst volatility, but there's a lot of stuff on here that you could get into that has higher upside but also higher downside, and you have to decide where your risk tolerance lies. So yeah, good luck to all the Wealthsimple beginners out there, and let me know down below in the comments what your first purchases are going to be in your new account. Have a great day.